Okay, this is a quick little video that I've been thinking about making for a little while now. So at the time of recording, we are about a little over 3 weeks since the 2025 Xbox Developer Direct, where they showed off Ninja Gaiden 4 for the first time. I just wanted to watch this again and reminisce and sort of take whoever's watching this through my reaction to it because unfortunately, I wasn't able to record myself as it was happening, and I wish I could have. But I just want to sort of preserve where my headspace was at the time as this was happening. So just to set the stage a little bit, when this showcase happened, we knew there were going to be four different games. We knew there was going to be Doom the Dark Ages, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and South of Midnight, plus some mystery fourth thing. The word on the street was that it would be, quote, some Japanese series with like decades of history. And that was pretty much all we knew about it. So there was a lot of speculation as to what this mystery fourth thing could be. Um, the common speculation was that it might be Ninja Gaiden, or it could be like a Final Fantasy thing. Personally, I was like almost certain that it was going to be Persona 6, just for a bunch of different reasons. Like the timing for that just made a little too much sense. Ninja Gaiden was actually a pretty popular bit of speculation, but I thought it was like really unlikely because they had just, as of like a little over a month ago, they had just announced Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, their little um, 2D pixel art side scroller thingy. And I thought, they're probably not going to announce another Ninja Gaiden game so quickly. Like, why would they? Why would they announce two games like on top of each other like that? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So that was sort of my mindset going into this. So with that in mind, let's just go through this again, and I can tell you what my thought process was at the time. I figured like, oh, Doom's the first thing on the list. They'll probably start with Doom. All right, so we'll just wait and see for this thing to show up. And wouldn't you know it, they start with the mystery thing. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, time to get to like last minute speculating. So we see the waves here. I have not played a ton of Team Ninja's more recent games. Like I've played a couple of them, but like I know what their logo screen looks like, but I don't immediately recognize like the modern version of it. So to me, these waves mean nothing. Like this could be anything at this point to me. And then it pans up, and that's the part of the Team Ninja like splash screen that I actually do recognize. So as soon as the camera pans up like that, I'm like, oh my god, wait, what? Is this Team Ninja? What? I'm losing my mind right here. Yeah, I'm like kinda in shock because the idea that it might be a Ninja Gaiden thing, it was in the back of my mind as something that was like a pie in the sky hope, but I figured it was not actually going to happen. So at this point, I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like trying to rationalize what I'm seeing. We see a couple people who I don't recognize. I don't know who these folks are. So at this point, like I'm like losing it. I'm like trying to figure out like what I'm possibly looking at.
こんにちは、超えてくも
Fumihiko Yasuda, this guy has been in interviews for a couple years now talking about like, oh, I would love to maybe bring Ninja Gaiden back someday. Like, this guy is sort of the champion of the series, and he has been for a while.
ゲームスチーム忍者の安田文彦です。今日は皆様にチーム忍者がな
I am pleased to announce an exciting news for one of our flagship action series. So at this point, I'm like uh, out of losing my mind trying to figure out what he could possibly be talking about because Team Ninja makes a lot of different games. They make, well, obviously Ninja Gaiden, they make Dead or Alive, they make the Neo games. They had just a couple years ago made Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise. They had just recently made Wolong and that Rise of the Ronin game. They make a lot of different games, so like this could mean anything. Ninja Gaiden is the thing I'm hoping for, but I still don't think it's actually going to happen.
長く大切にしてきたアクションシリーズの新情報を
But I
発
hope
表
it
できる
does,
機会をいただけ
obviously.
てとても嬉しく思います。早速ですがこちらをご覧ください。
Koei Tecmo logo.
Several years ago, the Dark Dragon, youngest of the divine dragon gods.
So the narrator opens this up and she immediately starts talking about the Dark Dragon. For those that haven't played Ninja Gaiden games, the Dark Dragon blade is like the main MacGuffin from Ninja Gaiden Black, the first one. So I'm like, oh my god, they said the Dark Dragon. Is this actually a Ninja Gaiden thing? Wait, what?
Wreaked havoc across the world.
We see like this crazy like sci-fi environment, which does not look like anything from the previous games at all. Like it looks kind of weird, but like it still looks cool.
The plot was ultimately thwarted through the efforts of a soul ninja.
Through the efforts of a soul ninja. Again, that's the plot of Ninja Gaiden Black. So again, I'm just like, I'm kind of in shock and denial because like I still don't think that Ninja Gaiden could ever possibly come back. So like I don't want to believe, basically.
However, the Dark Dragon's husk remains.
Like this looks like it could possibly be New Age Ninja Gaiden stuff, like the bodies on the floor there.
Of cursed rain. The abandoned Tokyo continues its struggle against.
And then we see this guy show up, and this sort of like snaps me out of it because I'm like, wait, that's not Ryu Hayabusa. What is this? So like, at this point, I go from like shock and like suspense to like confusion and bewilderment.
Chaos to this day.
Infiltrated the facility. Commencing mission.
And then we see the Platinum Games logo. So I go from like confusion and bewilderment to like, what on earth could I possibly be looking at? Like, none of this makes sense, what I'm seeing. Like, I'm still kind of in shock that like this is, you know, a new Team Ninja game that could possibly be Ninja Gaiden. But now I'm like not sure at all what to think. So now they start showing off gameplay, and my immediate first thought is, well, this looks kind of like Ninja Gaiden gameplay, I guess. Like, it's, you know, gruesome, violent, you know, third-person melee hack and slash. The character here does that move, which looks like a flying swallow move, which is very much like a Ninja Gaiden staple. The game is obviously like very gruesome and gory too, which is also a Ninja Gaiden staple. So I'm thinking, well, this looks kind of like Ninja Gaiden, but it also looks pretty weird and different. So like, it looks cool. But like, the stuff that... Okay, that right there. Back to it. This like crazy flashy finisher move. This looks like something that could potentially be in one of these games, but they've never actually done like this sort of like Metal Gear Zandatsu finishing move thing. Like it doesn't seem out of place, but it also doesn't seem familiar, if that makes sense. So yeah, like this whole time I'm just thinking, well, this is Platinum Games action for sure. Like I don't know exactly what I'm looking at, but it looks cool. Like it looks like my sort of game for sure. The character is so edgy, and like that also feels kind of fitting, I guess.
This is it.
So yeah, this whole time I'm just like not entirely sure what I'm looking at. All I know is that it looks cool and it looks like the sort of game that I want to play, like no matter what. Like at this point I think it could still possibly be like a Neo or like a weird game like Stranger of Paradise or something. Because like, again, Team Ninja makes a lot of, and Platinum, they both make a lot of different sorts of games, and I'm not familiar with all of them. So I'm thinking this could possibly be like a sequel to something I've never heard of. And then
Ryu Hayabusa.
Ryu Hayabusa shows up. So at this point, I'm like, oh my god, it actually is. It's actually, he does the Izuna drop move there. Oh my god, it's actually like Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden is back. And I just realized I muted this at some point. Oops.
Whatever your clan is plotting, it ends here.
So it's like Ryu doing Ryu Hayabusa things. He's like, you know, jumping back and forth off the walls, as Ryu does. I'm like, oh my god, what am I looking at? Is this even real? I can't believe it. I see like a Vangelf there, which is a classic enemy from Ninja Gaiden 2. He does like an ultimate technique and an obliteration technique, which are classic Ninja Gaiden.
So you've come, Raven.
Cutscene stuff.
Back off, Hayabusa. I will execute my mission.
And then the title drop happens. So this whole time up to this point, I've like not like I think I knew that it was obviously like a Ninja Gaiden thing, but I wasn't entirely sure what I was looking at. Because I'm thinking like it could be like, oh, it's Ninja Gaiden Reborn, Ninja Gaiden Returns, Ninja Gaiden Revengeance or something, you know, some sort of weird spin-off. And then they show this. And this is where it really starts to hit me, like, what I'm actually looking at. Like, this is not some weird spin-off thing like Ninja Gaiden Ragebound was. This is Ninja Gaiden 4. They actually put the 4 in the title. Like, that you know, which obviously that signals, yeah, this is a big one. This is a big deal. This is the thing that you thought would never actually happen in a million years. Like, it's actually real now. So this is where it starts to sink in. Like, it feels like I'm living in a dream at this point.
世界中の町人の皆さん、10年以上大変お待たせしました。
And then Yasuda
最
starts
強の
talking
忍者
about
と
it.
なり、容赦なく襲い来る敵に挑むハイスピードアクション、忍者ガイデンのナンバリング最新作として、忍者ガイデン4を発表させていただきまし
At
た。
this point, I'm like
本作はプラチナゲー
in
ムズさんとの
shock
協業で
at what
開
I
発
had
を進
just
めていま
seen.
す。
Collaboration between Team Ninja and Platinum, that makes a lot of
プラ
sense
チナ
to
ゲー
me.
ムズさんのアクションゲームというジャンルにおける実績は言うまでもなく、
I'm
ベヨネ
like,
ッタやに
and I should mention, this whole time I'm watching this, I have a Discord open on my phone because I'm like live chatting this with some friends. And I'm like flipping back and forth between like looking at the screen and like typing on my phone just to like keep up with what my friends are saying and to like, you know, just show how excited I am with them in real time. And obviously I don't speak Japanese, so like I can't understand what they're saying just by listening to them. So I would have to read the subtitles. But me, both A, being in complete shock and bewilderment, and also watching this on my phone, I'm not looking at the subtitles at all. So I'm like not able
ニア
to
オートマタなど
absorb
素晴らし
any
いア
of
クションタイト
this.
ルを生み出してこられました。忍者ガイデン4というタイトルを10年以上の時を超えて新たに皆様にお届けするにあたり、より多くの方に新鮮な気持ちでプレイしていただけるよう、
concept
新た
art
な
of
世
the
界
new
を新
character
主人
there.
公である
Like,
もう一
okay,
人の
that
町
makes
人、
sense.
ヤクモで冒険するという形で
I don't really-
制作することにしました。
I'm not really taking it in. I just know that like, okay, yeah, there's a new character.
先ほどご覧いただいた
I
映像の
didn't
中
even
で
catch the
リュウ
character's
ハヤブサ
name
も
as I
登場
was
しており
watching
ましたが、
this.
彼は今回も物語に密接に関
Ryu
わって
back
きます。
doing Ryu
なぜヤ
things.
クモと戦うことになったのか、リュウハヤブサが戦う目的は何なのか、
Again, like I'm so out of it that like they say Yakumo's name multiple times and I miss it every single time.
本作の物語の中で展開していきます。
任務は必ず成し遂げる。邪魔をするな。
物語は黒龍がもたらした
I'm gonna skip
がやま
ahead
な
a
い
little
限
bit here.
り
Again, this whole time I'm like, I know that I'm impressed that they're doing such a deep dive into this, but I'm like not able to absorb any of it. Like I know that I'm just going to have to go back and like rewatch it later just to like get an idea of what they're actually saying.
呪いステージヤクモをピンチ
Just let me
隊が
skip
崩
ahead here
壊
because
し
there's one bit
魔
I do
族
want to
や
highlight.
部屋に牙を向くよ全シリーズ同じレールアクションスイングアクションなどのダイナミッ
Do-do-do.
クさまざまな に上がっていくテンションにも
Like again, I'm also thinking like, wow, I am so not used to like Ninja Gaiden games like having this sort of like visual fidelity. Like the game looks really, really good, and like I'm used to playing Ninja Gaiden Black, which is a game from 2005, like which is 20 years old at this point. So I'm not used to having seeing Ninja Gaiden with this sort of presentation, you know, like with all the flashy sparkles and whatnot.
新しい主人公のヤクモは
So again, they're
竜
talking
ハヤ
about
ブ
the
サ
new
に次
character.
ぐスイッチ門を背負い竜と肩を並べる次世代の超人たり得る人物としてデザインしています。
You know, around there, I'm thinking, oh, the new character looks cool at least. He doesn't look like a really awful fit the way that like, what's his face, the character from DMC Devil May Cry does. Like he looks like he fits in just fine. Again, more
そん
gameplay
な
stuff
ヤク
that
モ
I'm
の
not
前
able
に
to
立ち
absorb.
塞がるのは竜神と、そしてもちろんシリーズおなじみの魔人も登場します。
This part I actually
ま
do
た
catch.
現時点では公開していませんが
I do immediately notice like this, like I think it's called a shadow imp here. This is a classic enemy from the older games, so I'm like, oh hey, that's cool. They're actually bringing back some of the old enemy
新たな
types.
キャラクターやシリーズファンの
And like, hey, bringing back old characters. That's cool.
方に喜んでいただける人物も
従来のシリーズからバトルスピードをさらに加速使えるシーンこれまでから大
Again,
きく
this
進
whole
化した
time I'm like
一対他の戦闘を可能にし
flipping
ました
between my phone
ヌエ
and
の
like
方で
watching
は
my
これまでの
watching the
忍者
screen.
ガイ
I'm
デ
like
ンには
not
ない
able to absorb any of
広
it.
範囲か
I'm just
つ
getting
一
shocked
撃
the
必
whole
殺の攻
time.
撃となっておりプレイヤー同様使うことが
Blah, blah,
敵を
blah.
逃
There
さ
is
ずに
one
攻
more
撃を
bit
し
I want to
味わいに
highlight here.
さらなる進化を感じられるかと思います
New fighting style, cool. Again, I know I want to. At this point, I know I want to go back and rewatch all this later.
いただいています。な特徴ごとに
心地になっていますヤクモ
At this point, I think I
そし
might
て竜
actually.
ハヤブサの双方で飛燕伊豆直俊
I
な
don't know
ど
if I was like
シリーズおなじ
crying
みの
or
アクションも
anything,
駆使し
but I
つ
was
つ
like feeling
新
super,
アクションを
super
織り交ぜた
emotional.
新しい
Like
忍者
I
ガイデン
could
に
not
ご
believe
期待
what
く
I
だ
was
さい
looking at.
高いアクション体験ダイナミックな演出も取り入れ
を目指し
に楽しめる
でプラチナゲームズさんと共にまさにできて非常に嬉しく思います2025年秋に本作
Fall
を皆様にお届けで
2025.
きるのを
Like this whole time, I'm just hoping for a release date, and then they just say fall, and I'm like, ah, well, fair enough.
楽しみにしています続報にもぜひご期待ください
Then, you know, fall. That's cool. I see that it's on Game Pass, which is also nice.
さて本日お伝えしたい発表は
One more thing to announce, and this like snaps me back into it. And I'm like, oh, now I'm paying attention again. What else could you possibly follow that up with?
それだけではありませんこちらをご覧ください
I'm like, all right, what is this? I'm not expecting a whole lot at this point. I see the two towers here, which I think, oh, that could be like a stage from Dead or Alive or something. Maybe this is a new Dead or Alive thing. Team Ninja again. At this point, I think, oh, it looks kind of like the beginning of Ninja Gaiden 2 a little bit. Oh, this looks a lot like the beginning of Ninja Gaiden 2, actually. And then it gets to this point, and I'm like, oh my god, is this a remake of Ninja Gaiden 2? What? And then we show off gameplay, and I'm like, oh my god, it's actually like a remake of Ninja Gaiden 2. And it looks like super gruesome and gory, as Ninja Gaiden 2 does. Or as it's supposed to. Oh wow, Ninja Gaiden 2 remake, and it looks like super, super pretty and cool. At this point, I've never actually beaten Ninja Gaiden 2 before, so I'm like, oh, I guess I, you know, now have no excuse not to play through it. And I recognize a couple of the bosses. I see this guy who, oh, I'm forgetting his name, Genshin, who, like, it's really cool to see him and rendered in this sort of visual fidelity.
Genshin, go back to hell.
There's the classic Ryu Josh Keaton Ryu Hayabusa voice, which I love.
All paths before me are cruel and arduous.
Around here, I'm thinking, oh my god, this looks gorgeous.
Our time has come.
Ninja Gaiden 2. Some sort of new Ninja Gaiden 2 thing. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. And I'm like, oh my god, I cannot believe that. Like, I'm still not even over the fact that we got Ninja Gaiden 4. Like, I'm still not over that, and already we've got, like, a Ninja Gaiden 2 remake on top of that. I'm, like... At this point, I think... I'm like, oh, I'm dead. Team Ninja has killed me.
丸で発売し、
What?
バイオレンスな表現とハイスピードなバトルを皆様にお楽しみいただいた作品です。今作忍者ガイデン2ブラ
Ninja Gaiden 2 Black is the definitive version of the game. Like, oh my god, they're actually, like, bringing the game back, and they're, like, making some fixes and changes to it.
ではオリジナル版の表現に立ち戻り、アンリアルエンジン5を用いてグラフィックを大幅に刷新。
Again, I'm, like, flipping back and forth between, like, watching the screen and, like, sort of half paying attention to what they're
ガイデン
saying.
2の完全版として開発いたしました。綺麗なグラフィックでお楽しみいただけるのはもちろん、リュウハヤブサに加え、アヤネ、モミジ、レイチェル
The fact that they were bringing back Ayane, Momiji, and Rachel was, like, really cool, because, like, they weren't in the original version of the game. So I'm like, oh, I guess they're kind of, like, combining the original Ninja Gaiden 2 with Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma. That's cool.
もプレイブルキャラクターとして登場します。そして本作は本日
So, again, because I am looking back and forth between the screen and my phone, I don't even catch this. Like, I think one of my friends in the text chat said, oh, wow, and it's out today. And, like, that was the point where I saw that it was out today. I didn't even catch the subtitle. That's how out of it I was at
コン
this
ソー
point.
ル、PC、そして Xbox ゲームパスでこの後すぐに発売となります。忍者ガイデンシリーズを長年応援いただいている皆様はもちろんのこと、本日忍者ガイデンを知っていただいた皆様も忍者ガイデン4の発売前にぜひ本作をお楽しみ
This series was dead at this point. Like, this series was dead and gone. I had accepted that Ninja Gaiden was, like, you know, a relic of the past and was never coming back. I had accepted that, like, Team Ninja had just moved on to making, like, Souls-like games. And that, oh, maybe someday they'll make, like, a Ninja Gaiden 4. That'd be cool, but, like, I don't expect them to do that. And, like, even if they did, I wouldn't have expected them to, like, actually do it well. So, like, going from that to, oh, yeah, it's a little Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. It's this little, like, pixel art game. Oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe someday this will lead to, like, a new game. Going from that to this is one of the craziest things I think I have ever seen in my, you know, however many years of, like, following video game news and whatnot.
お楽しみください。
So, like, wow, Ninja Gaiden is
今年
actually
はチー
back
ム忍者
for
創
real.
立30周年の節目であり、本日発表させていただいた忍者ガイデン4を含め、2025年は忍者の年、イヤーオブザ忍者となります。ぜひ忍者ガイデンシリーズの展開にご注目ください。本日はありがとうございました。
So yeah, that's kind of where I was throughout the whole thing. So like, just seeing this screen, it still gives me chills, man. Like, just seeing this and this, like, again, Ninja Gaiden 4, like, they felt confident enough to put the number on it. That means a lot. Like, that speaks to a lot of confidence. Like, this is the sort of thing that I genuinely thought I would never see. Like, even if they brought Ninja Gaiden back, I thought, oh, it'd be like some weird reboot and they did something weird with it, rather than, like, making a direct follow-up to, like, a game from over a decade later. And just, so seeing this alongside the rest of this is just crazy to look at. And, like Ninja Gaiden 4 plus Ninja Gaiden 2 Black out today, I'm, like, so out of it. Such that, like, here's how bad it is. I'm, like, so out of it that, like, as the rest of my friends are just, like, watching this whole thing with South of Midnight, from, like, here, here-ish to, like, all the way up through, where is it? this whole time they're showing off this other game that I've seen before and I don't really care about it because it doesn't look like my sort of game. That whole time, I'm like not even paying attention to any of it. Like, I can see that my friends in my text chat are talking about it, but I'm not paying attention. I don't care. I got my Ninja Gaiden back. That's where I was for like the next like 10 minutes or so. Like, from about here, like at the 5 minute mark, all the way up to here, I'm just in shock the whole time. I'm still trying to process it. Like, it's only about like here, once they go to the Clear Obscure game, it's only about then when the shock starts to wear off. Because like, partially because Clear Obscure is a game that I actually like care about. Like, it actually looks interesting to me. And like, you know, I'm watching this, I'm following along with the Clear Obscure footage, and I'm thinking, wow, this looks really cool. Like, this and Ninja Gaiden, this looks cool. But like, you know, Ninja Gaiden is still sort of in the back of my mind the whole time. It takes until about here when they start to talk about Doom, where I'm like officially like able to pay attention and process that there are other video games at this video game show. So like, from about the 5 minute mark all the way to here, I can't process it. And even now, like as I'm recording this, like 3 weeks later, I still feel like I'm living in a dream that I still can't even believe that this is a real thing that exists. So yeah, that's where my head was at this entire time. Thank you for listening. I might post this somewhere, but I really just wanted to keep this for myself. Take care.